Okay, so I've been using Kagi Search for a little over 2 weeks now, and I've been pleasantly surprised by the user experience and the features that it has to offer. So I thought I would make a video kind of emphasizing a lot of these features that I didn't see talked about in depth elsewhere on the internet. So I thought it might be helpful to other people looking into Kagi and what it has to offer. Um, so, just some background. I've been using DuckDuckGo exclusively before Kagi Search for the most part. I messed around with Brave Search and Start Page, but I was pretty much sitting on DuckDuckGo for a while there. And while it wasn't a bad experience, it clearly had its limitations. And by limitations, I mean it would just constantly rank AI slop garbage. And when I'm looking for a quick answer or I'm looking for a solid answer, the last thing I want to be clicking on is articles that are like as long as possible to keep you engaged in reading and looking at ads and are clearly just written by AI. It was so frustrating and it was absolute garbage. And the problem with that is it would often push me to use tools like Perplexity or ChatGPT when it was something that I wanted a quick answer on. But I'd rather avoid those because of personal privacy concerns, which is obviously a huge selling point of the Kagi search engine. So I started looking online for a better solution. Specifically, I was searching for, is there a search engine that downranks or even filters out all this AI garbage? And one that was ranked, continually praised for its incredible results was Kagi. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I'd like to share my experience here because so far I've been quite happy with it. But Kagi has seemed to offer all the things that I'm looking for in a search engine. It's private, it downranks junk content and gives me trustworthy results. And so while yes, it's a paid service, it comes with the benefits of a paid service, much like the Proton suite of tools. When you pay for something, you're no longer the product. So they don't make their money off of advertising. That keeps them from manipulating search results, and it keeps the search experience really clean. If you are looking for a clean, efficient, privacy-respecting search experience, Kagi may be worth the monthly fee for you. So that's what I kind of want to do in this video is show you the standout features and help you determine whether this is something you should invest in. So let's get into the actual user experience here. So this is the landing page of the Kagi search engine. And I think it looks very clean and minimal. I appreciate just how it prioritizes right here in the center, quick navigation, and ready to get searching. Much like Google search, if you expand this menu here, you have kind of the classic options within a search engine. You can search by images, videos, podcasts. They also have news. This is a product provided directly by Kagi. And this is something I'd like to do a more in-depth review of separately. I've really been enjoying Kagi News. It's still in its early stages, so there's going to be some issues, but that'll be something we'll get into another time. And they also have maps here, which is great. It's snappy, it's responsive, it's worked for me, and it forwards you to Google Maps or Apple Maps, which people, 95% of people are actually using for navigation. So if we just go back to the home menu here, let's get into actually doing a search. So if I search here, who is the President of the United States of America? So before I click enter here, you'll notice here at the top, there's this little lightning bolt and it says quick answer for who is the President of the United States of America. So what's incredible about Kagi is they still implement AI features because they've acknowledged the value of AI without like forcing it on you and making it absolute garbage. In addition to that, the AI summaries are all using high quality results rather than all of these sponsored or AI written slop articles where the AI summary is of AI generated content and it's just trash. So I like this feature. So if we just click enter and we don't click on the quick answer, you'll notice there's no summarization. And they do have here this option after you put through search to generate a quick answer. And it gives you the sources much like DuckDuckGo and Google search. But another thing that I love about Kagi is like when you're typing up a question, who actually uses a question mark? We're not, that feels a little personal for a search engine, right? But Kagi has implemented it in a cool manner where the question mark becomes valuable because you can just end a search with a question mark and it will automatically generate the quick answer. I use that a lot on mobile. I think it's helpful. It's a cool little feature that I just wanted to kind of highlight because Kagi's done a lot of these things really well. These little features that just improve the whole user experience that aren't talked about very much. So overall, I feel like strong design of the initial search experience. And then we can kind of get into the search results. What you'll notice first is there's no sponsored articles, and the top results are high quality results. And there's going to be exceptions to some of those things, right? But it's incredible to not have all these ads just pasted everywhere. The search experience is super clean, super minimal, and I love the way articles are structured here. It really makes the experience clean, efficient, and helpful, right? That's what I'm looking for in search. So let's kind of get into some of the features. One big feature that is highlighted on their website and a lot of people have talked about, and you may or may not find that you use this feature and find it valuable, but a big one is Kagi lenses. So this drop down here, these are the pre-made lenses, and lenses allow you to scope your search. So if you're specifically looking for information on programming, for example, we could search up how do the heap and stack work. Our results are only going to be filtered to websites within the programming lens, right? So you can see GitHub, Stack Overflow, developer.apple.com, the Rust documentation. So it's very helpful if you are interested in research or searching something extremely specific. The one I find myself using is academic. Recently, I've been quite interested in researching about my health. So the academic lens allows you to search specifically academic documents and studies. So, if I look up, I don't know, depression in Gen Z, you'll notice all of the top results are now directly from actual academic sources that have value. So I love the Kagi lenses feature. I don't use it all the time, obviously, but they allow you to create your own lenses. So you could create a new one. I've seen people, on the Kagi forums have different ones specifically related to their region. And then you just include the websites that you want to see in those lenses and keywords. And they've got some advanced options here. Like let's say you wanted one for breaking news. You only wanted to include things within the past day, right? So you could do stuff like that. So while I don't use that feature a lot for power users, I think that's a pretty standout feature for sure. Another thing that Kagi Search offers is the ability to boost or block domains. So while they have their own filtering options to choose, high quality results for you, you may know results from X website is not beneficial to me. I never get anything helpful from it. So, if I don't like the results that I'm getting from Britannica here, I can click on this little shield icon and I can adjust the ranking. So I can block it specifically, and in the future, no search results will come up from Britannica. I can downrank it. So when I commit a search, it's not going to be one of the higher ones on the list, or I can even uprank it or pin it, which will push it to the top of the search if a result populates for Britannica. So I think that's a pretty sweet feature, especially as you use the web more and you realize like, oh my gosh, I just hate this website. It's filled with ads or it's just got garbage content on it. You can just block it yourself, which is sweet. Another standout feature of the Kagi search engine is bangs and quick bangs. So you'll notice here, if I am at the Kagi search engine and I just type an exclamation mark, it shows you the recommended bangs here. And many of you may already know what this is, but if I do R, for example, and then I type in a search, Windows driver error, it'll immediately take me to Reddit and search inside of Reddit. So you can do the same thing for YouTube. And these are all built into the Kagi search experience, which is pretty cool. But in addition to that, they allow what they call quick bangs. So you have 20 allowed maximum, and this is just found inside of your user settings. And it's only one last letter. You don't have to put that exclamation mark in there, but it's still useful. Like if you're going to be searching Reddit for things all the time, I can just type in R help and it'll search help on Reddit. So the quick bangs are a cool feature too, and you can kind of customize which ones you want. And they provide this really useful website. I'll drop this in the description. That allows you to search for what bangs are supported by Kagi. There's a ton of them. There's so many that I'll never use, but it's cool that they have support for it, right? So if you look up news, they have all these different ones, right? And if I don't even know what natural news is, but if I wanted to search natural news, exclamation mark NN test, I guess that's maybe out of the country. It's obviously taking a while to load, but it's cool that it supports all these different bangs. So I'll drop this in the description in case that feels useful to anyone. But let's kind of get into some of the privacy features of Kagi Search. A standout one is Kagi Privacy Pass. So obviously, because Kagi is a paid search engine that has an account, you have an account linked to you, there's that question of how can I use it privately without my search being linked to my account? Now, I trust Kagi just knowing the community and their business model. So I don't find myself using Privacy Pass, but Privacy Pass is a pretty cool feature they offer. Unfortunately, it has to come through, unless you're using the Orion browser, their developed browser, you have to install an extension. But the Kagi Privacy Pass extension, if I go here and add it, you can see it added the Kagi Privacy Pass extension. Now we're authenticated via Privacy Pass. So if I go to Kagi.com, now it says we're using Kagi with Privacy Pass enabled. So Privacy Pass, from my understanding, is a way of authenticating like our allowed usage of Kagi without linking it to who is using it. Like it doesn't link our account. It just confirms with Kagi servers that we're allowed to use it. I'll drop another link in the description explaining how it works if you're interested in that. It's a cool feature for those who are maybe a little more privacy conscious, but I'm not too worried about it. Even with the accounts, they have a very robust privacy policy, which I'll drop in the description, but it doesn't concern me. So that's a cool feature for those who are real privacy conscious. Here's the blog post about it, and I'll leave that down below. Another thing that I wanted to highlight, this was important to me, just because I find myself using different web browsers or different profiles, but only temporarily, is the private session link. So inside of your Kagi account, you can find a private session link. So obviously, because you have to be authenticated with an account, if you were to search in a private tab, it's going to prompt you to log in, right? But you can set your search engine to be the private session link, and now I'm able to search with the private session link and be authenticated without ever actually signing in, which is pretty cool. Another standout feature for myself is they are actively working to filter AI slop content. I'm going to put a screenshot on the screen here now. This is a message from one of the Discord staff on the Kagi team talking about it. It's a community effort towards making a list of all this AI garbage. It also excludes AI generated video content on YouTube. So if you find yourself using Kagi Search for videos as well, it'll filter out that garbage, which I think is pretty sweet. And this is just another little feature that I've really been enjoying. So if you've noticed, the whole search experience looks very default, but Kagi Search allows you to have custom CSS. And I downloaded this CSS off of GitHub. I can leave that in the description as well. But if I enable the custom CSS here, it looks just incredible. So here's what the default page looks like. If I run a test search, here's what the results look like. And so you can customize how Kagi Search looks if you want it to look different. And I just love that. I think it's cool to have so many customization features. And in addition to that, if you're an ultra nerd or if you're interested in this, they also support Vim keybinds. So if you're big on that, you'll notice here I'm pressing the J key, and I guess a limitation of this custom CSS is they don't have full highlighting for this yet. But if I remove that, you can see now it's highlighting different things. So J to go down, K, and enter. So it's kind of cool that they support a keyboard-centric way of searching, right? If you're big on your keybinds, new tab, test, come down. Yep, this is what I want, enter. So that's a pretty sweet feature. And then lastly, for you privacy-focused individuals or people who have like using front ends for different search-related things, a great option, which I'm a huge fan of, is redirects. So this was implemented somewhat recently, but redirects allow you to redirect searches to a different website. So I put this one in here as an example, but if you wanted your YouTube searches to automatically get redirected to Invidious, you no longer need a new Chrome extension or Firefox extension to make that happen. There's one called Privacy Redirect, and it's a great extension, but I hate having all these extensions installed in my browser. So what's cool about Kagi is if I just go here, let's say I'm searching for videos, and I look up rocket launch. What you'll notice is all of these videos come up with YouTube here, but if I click on one, it's going to take me straight to Invidious, and I can watch that video directly on a privacy front end. So you could do the same for X, right? You could do the same for all these. There's a front end for all these different media sources and tools. So that's a really cool feature that just it keeps everything central. And I love that. I love that about Kagi. There's so many features built right in that I use on the daily, and that just makes the search experience incredible. So let's kind of summarize this with pros and cons and downsides and limitations. This is all, of course, my own opinion. So, what you value in a search engine may be different than what I value. But I'm going to just talk first about what I liked and what I think stands out about Kagi. Obviously, genuinely useful top results. Often when I search something, within the first 3 answers, I get something helpful and useful. I also find that the AI summaries are valuable because it's using high quality sources, not just garbage. Now, there are some times where it's straight up wrong, and I'll show you that, but I don't find that that is the case very often, and I like that I have the freedom to choose whether I use that. In Google, you can't even turn it off. Another huge feature is it's ad-free and zero tracking, so it's privacy conscious, and when I'm searching, it's clean, it's efficient. I'm not bombarded with ads that just make my eyes want to bleed. I also love the features of domain control and lenses. It boosts the quality and efficiency of search. If you're looking for something specific or you want to downrank different websites, it kind of lets you customize your own search engine, which is cool. And I use the quick bangs and custom bangs all the time. It just makes search fast and easy. And again, kind of centralizes things, right? Like if I want to search YouTube, I don't have to go to YouTube first and then search. I can just do everything from Kagi with a quick bang and click on the result. I love that, especially now that they're implementing filtering AI slop content from YouTube as well. It gives me more incentive to run that search straight from Kagi. Privacy Pass is obviously a standout feature. In the paid tiers above the $5 a month tier, they have the AI assistant, which I would love to do another video on. I am a paying user and I am using the AI assistant, and I would say overall, I'm loving it. There are some downsides to it for sure, but it's been incredible, especially the new study assistant, which I would love to talk about in depth. And the Vim keybinds and the CSS and the quick bangs and the privacy redirects, while they're all small features, they all come together for people who just love that environment. The keyboard centric, the customization, and the efficient use of front ends without needing extensions. I think that's sweet. Now let's get into the downsides. Obviously the cost, right? You're paying for search, which Kagi is one of the few, if only, that has had any success in that manner. So you have to decide, is it worth it to me? Would I rather be served, somewhat anonymous ads on Brave or non-personalized ads on Brave, but search for free, or pay for something like Kagi? And all these little features come together and make me feel like it's worth it. I enjoy paying for it. I enjoy the product, and I'm a fan of what they're doing at the company. In addition to that, with their Orion browser, which I would also love to do a review on. I think it's sweet. Obviously, it's in its really early stages, but I'm excited to hear that it's coming to Linux as well. And there are some errors in search. I took a screenshot. I'll put it up on the screen. But for example, I looked up, what is the official link for PuTTY? And the AI overview told me it was putty.org, but that's incorrect. That's not the PuTTY obviously being the SSH connection client. And I think this was also highlighted in the Discord server. So there's going to be some issues where things aren't ranked perfectly, but that's just how it is when you're building a new search engine and you're a smaller business. And I think over time that will get better. They're very good at taking feedback in the Discord channel and making changes on it, which is sweet, right? Like, we can't expect any product to be perfect, but it's sweet when we know that the staff are invested in improving the product. So just be prepared to be a little bit aware when it's more niche or discrete searches, to make sure that it's really accurate. 99% of the time, I feel like the results are incredible, but rarely I find that it's not useful or it's wrong, and that's a bummer. So yeah, some of these little features too feel hidden to me. They're not as obvious, and I would love for that to be more obvious. That's why I'm making this video. But the other downside of Kagi is there's just some implementation of it that, and it's not Kagi's fault, but it's a little frustrating. Like, for example, if you use Safari on iOS, you have to install a Safari extension in order to forward searches to Kagi, to be set as your default search engine. And I noticed, like, if I did a quick answer search and I press the back button, I could see that inputted in the DuckDuckGo browser. I don't understand fully how that works, but I'm wondering, does that search ever still go through your default search engine as well? So it just feels a little bit less clean or polished or organized in some ways, but that's just how it is. There's some disadvantages to using services that Apple isn't going to bake in as a default search engine option. It's not necessarily their fault, but it's just an unfortunate reality. And I love the Orion browser on iOS, but there's some disadvantages to that too. And it's in its early stages, and I've had crashing issues with it. So I think over time it will just become better and better, but it does kind of feel like we're in the early stages of the Kagi ecosystem. So I'm going to end this video. It's getting long, but just to kind of finish up, in my opinion, who should use Kagi Search? Who is it for? I think it's for power users, researchers, developers, people who are focused on efficiency with a keyboard-centric search environment and efficient use of search with things like bangs and quick bangs. But if you're just if you're just the average person who is having no problem finding what you need with your current search engine, you know, or if you're using Google and that's working for you and you're not concerned about privacy, you know, maybe the price tag isn't worth it for you. And if we just go, I'll show you guys this real quick. I'm sure you've probably read it if you're interested in Kagi Search, but we'll just pull it up anyways. The starter plan only includes 300 searches a month, which they say, you know, most people use less than that. I definitely use more than that, especially if you're using it at your daytime job where you're doing a lot of searching. So then you're kind of pushed into the $10 a month unlimited plan. And that kind of includes the Kagi Assistant features and then the Ultimate plan, which I'm currently paying for. And after I use Assistant more, I'm going to kind of make a video about whether I feel that's worth it or not. But it would be cool for Kagi to see a $5 a month, you know, only unlimited search plan. But I understand that the AI features are kind of built into search, and so the pricing can be complicated. But you just got to keep that in mind. How often do I use search? How much do I care about my search being highly efficient? And what kind of things am I searching for? The lenses, the high quality results, the no ads, all of it is focused on people who want a clean, efficient, and high quality search experience. But if that doesn't matter to you, you know, stick with what's free, DuckDuckGo or Brave Search, which, you know, aren't horrible, but have their problems. So yeah, that's kind of it today. Which of these features do you think you would improve in Kagi Search, or would you like to see change? Leave a comment. I'd love to chat about it. I know this is my first video. I hope it was good. I don't know. Subscribe and like if you would like to see more videos related to Kagi products and just things I'm interested in. And it seems like, you know, if you're watching this, you may be interested in the same things as me. So I appreciate all of you. Thanks for your attention. If you made it this far, you're incredible. I hope you have a great day. Bye.